different plants, different voices, and different ways of having conversations. It's time to get personal with plant medicine. Welcome to Getting Personal with Plant Medicine. I'm your host, Diana, and today I am joined yet again by the amazing Douglas LaRose of the Kava Coalition. How are you doing today, Douglas?
Diana, I'm doing absolutely fantastic today. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining me again. I'm so very happy. And if you're hearing the tiny human in the background, it's his birthday. So, apologies, but he's extra excited today. So anyway,
happy birthday.
I'll let him know. He's very excited about hearing that from everyone today. So anyway, all right. So the last time you were on, we talked about the global perspective of Kava more so than your own personal experience. I mean, you did share some personal anecdotes, but I think we can go a little bit deeper in that regard, and we're going to do that today, and we're also going to talk about Kratom. But let's start off with how you have really witnessed firsthand, in a way that I don't think anyone I've ever met has, the ability to foster community through this drink, right? The Kava drink. I mean, we've seen it in a few different states. I say we, I mean me and the producer. But you've seen how many now? If I forgot how many Kava bars you said you visited.
Oh, somewhere around 50.
Wow.
At this point. Yeah.
Wow. And so, what was your first experience with that? What really drew you into this community?
Well, it's really interesting because when I first started drinking Kava, it was about 25 or 26 years ago, when there were no Kava bars anywhere in the U.S. And I found Kava at a health food store that I was working at. I feel like I probably talked about that in our first discussion, but the only thing that I could really gather from that experience was stuff that I read in research papers and stuff about the Pacific Islands and how Kava is used at the communal level in the Pacific Islands to help bring people together and talk through problems.
Not to cut you off, but you did say things.
Yes.
You're underscoring. You're not telling everyone how amazing you really are here, because you're saying, I just read about it, but you also have a background in anthropology, which I think lends to this. You didn't just read about it, right?
Well, at this time I was 19 or 20.
Oh, okay. All right.
I wasn't quite I wasn't quite walking around with stardust trailing me when I in the anthropology world. I was just reading. I was just reading about Kava, and I went to the library, the local Escondido Public Library in Southern California, and found some books that discussed Kava. And one of the main discussion points was about the how it was used at the community level. And then I didn't really have any experience with that until I went to a Kava bar for the first time in 2013 or 2012. And that was the first time I was able to actually see in the U.S. people hanging out in a Kava bar who are not drunk like you would find at a quote unquote regular bar in the U.S. who were just sitting around talking about their lives in really positive pro-social ways that didn't end in arguments or fights or inappropriate, unwelcome attention like you would find at other bars.
But what about the drink itself? What really led you to have that kind of connection? Because if you were working in a health food store, I can imagine you came across a lot of things that interested you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you drink Kava, especially if you're alone for the first time, it does foster connection with yourself. I guess before you can connect with other people, you have to connect with yourself. And as opposed to other substances like alcohol or even cannabis, I feel like kava can like really like settle your mind and help you pause and like reflect and kind of not feel everything at once like overwhelmingly and like be able to kind of strip away the that surface level anxiety that I think often runs under the surface. Um, and and then I think that then branches out to like your relationships with your family, your friends, your community.
Okay, I like that. So you really felt like it changed something in you in a way that other types of plants didn't.
Yeah, especially like the popular options. Like alcohol, I feel like is all about seclusion. It's all about kind of like paving over your emotions and paving over your feelings and kind of pushing them down. And then like cannabis is just like too intense.
Yeah,
I mean, at least for me, like I
yeah,
was like whenever I would go near cannabis, I would always like really go into my head really deeply, um, and and it actually kind of like increased my anxiety. It was once something I kind of dismissed outright, but that's just like a personal relationship I have with cannabis. I'm not trying to say that that's how it is for everybody.
right. No, I get it totally. I mean, it honestly, I do understand that. I think that like kava can be really cool for people that especially don't really like cannabis that much, but it also can be cool
Hmm.
for people who do. That's the cool thing
Yeah,
about it, you know. It
absolutely.
enhances the experience, but it also is a good like I don't know replacement for it. I guess I don't know if that's the word, but I understand what you're saying. So one hot topic that continues around kava is reverse tolerance, and we did touch on that a little bit before, but I know you have some thoughts on that. So would you like to expand?
Yeah, well, I'm here today to stake my claim and kind of make a stand. I feel like reverse tolerance is a way of trying to convince people or urge people who are not really like feeling kava the first time they try it that, oh, this is going to take you some time to feel the effects. You have to keep drinking it for a while before you really feel the benefits from it. That's reverse tolerance. Like that's the argument that I hear over and over again whenever I go to kava bars or hear people making a pitch about kava. And I think it's a helpful tool for getting people to not give up on kava, but I don't think that it's like a scientific reality. I don't think that there's really any evidence that the longer you drink kava and the more you drink kava, the more you feel it. um, I feel like people have to learn how to feel kava and how to experience kava. And in the Pacific Islands they say hear the kava.
Hmm.
um, like you have to learn how to hear the kava sing your song or hear the kava like talk to you. um because it's a lot of people when at the kava bar, for example, somebody might come in for the first time and they have like two or three shells of kava, and sometimes they'll just say like, oh, I didn't feel anything, like, that was a waste of money. Well, that would be really rude if they said that, but if they said like, oh, I didn't really like get like what I was hoping I would get out of this. I always tell them like it's not going to be like alcohol. It's not going to be like cannabis. It's not going to be like mushrooms or something. It's going to be so subtle and like such an undercurrent in your mood that you might not even notice it until you've had it a few times and kind of
Mm-hmm.
understand how it works. And I feel like that's what reverse tolerance is it's more like the aha moment, maybe like on your fifth or sixth time drinking kava, where you finally realize like, oh, this is how like kava works. But
Mm-hmm.
then I think that people have kind of taken that and then like turned it into this whole reverse tolerance theory that is just an easier way to try to convince people to like not give up on kava.
Yeah, I get that. And I mean, truly, it all depends on your body physiology, right? Like, everyone is different. Um, I think I felt something the first time I ever had kava, but my uncle was like, this is. I don't feel anything. But he would still drink it sometimes. He just was like not impressed, you know. But it's
Hmm.
also difficult, and we say this all the time on this show, to really delineate which plant is doing which thing or which substance is doing which thing in your body when you're taking multiple supplements, or, you know, you're drinking alcohol, or you have, you know, other things going on, excuse me, medically speaking. So it can be difficult to say, well, this did this specific thing, unless you do, I forgot what they call it, like removal strategy. I don't remember, but you basically take one thing away every day that you normally do in your
Oh
routine.
yeah.
So if you're taking like vitamins, for example, you would stop taking the vitamins, or you would stop drinking coffee or whatever it is. And then you could get down to the point where you're like, I'm just doing one thing, and I know it, so then I can actually figure out what this is doing. It's something that people do in research when they're trying to figure out, you know, but I forgot the name of it. But anyway, yeah. So,
Maybe, yeah, maybe one thing just to add, like, there is, it's not exactly reverse tolerance, but there is a phenomenon where, like, when I traveled to Vanuatu last year, in my Kava Coalition role, and I went to this really rural part of Santo Espirito Santo, which is an island in the northern part of Vanuatu where a lot of kava is grown. And I drank kava on a farm for like 2 or 3 days straight. I mean, not like 24/7, like, but like had kava ceremonies,
mm-hmm.
and like participated with farmers and like digging up and preparing kava. And on the first day, I had like 3 or 4 shells, and a shell of kava like in Vanuatu, fresh at the farm, is like having like 10 or 15 shells of dried kava. It's
Wow.
like a lot of kava lactones per shell. And the second day and the third day that I did that, like my blood was like completely saturated with kava lactones, and that, so that's like a short term kind of like reverse tolerance where, when you have a lot of kava in your system already and you keep adding more and more kava, you get to like a level of kava that you probably don't want to have in your system, where you're like like really lethargic and like your limbs kind of like stop working and you just kind of want to like lay down. And then you might even get some like anxiety from that.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little bit of anxiety. I was like, I suddenly had this realization that I was in the middle of the rainforest with like indigenous Ni Vanuatu farmers, and I was like, oh my god, if I was to get like really sick right now, I would be completely screwed because I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just having like all of these like kind of crazy thoughts, and a lot of that is kind of like that short term uh, kind of like reverse tolerance. But all of that to say, like in the U.S., if you go to a kava bar, you're never going to drink enough kava to like experience that kind of reverse tolerance, if you want to call it that.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That that can happen, I feel like, with anything, right? Like, well, maybe not anything, but yeah, that's definitely an experience I don't think a lot of people in America are going to get, right?
No, 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 definitely not.
So, what are some other types of myths or like misconceptions around kava bother you that you want to clarify?
Oh, I mean, the biggest one still to this day is the myth of like the liver toxicity, and that I mean that's such a damaging, pervasive myth. It's kind of done like unmeasurable damage to the kava industry,
Mm-hmm.
because all of this was like disproven like almost immediately after it came up, like in Europe. There was a pharmaceutical drug that was sold that had kava as an ingredient, and that pharmaceutical drug was causing damage to like some of the patients' livers. And it was like a concoction of like a whole bunch of different botanical and non-botanical stuff, compounds put together. And the Germans banned kava because it was an ingredient in that pharmaceutical medicine. And then like a couple years later, they were like, oh, actually, it wasn't the kava that caused the liver damage, but nonetheless, like they still kept the law in place. And then that law basically applied to the whole European Union, and then the UK as well. And if you go on Google and you Google kava health or kava liver, it's gonna like give you all kinds of bogus stuff about kava and liver damage, and all of that has been like completely uh, uh, disproven, like through like actual science and health studies. But for some reason, like the myth still perpetuates itself.
Hmm.
So that's like definitely the one that I always want to like bring up. And actually, the Kava Coalition, we're doing a lot of advocacy right now around that. There's a video that we're releasing in the coming weeks with Dr. Matthias Schmidt. He's actually a German researcher who worked with Kava a lot, and he's gonna in the video he explains the history of it, because it's a very complicated history. But for anybody who like wants to support Kava, they should really understand that story and kind of why it's been so damaging.
I think I printed that out from the Kava Coalition's website. Is it on
Oh
there?
yeah.
I'm saying it like people are at the bar with us right now. Go check out the binder that I put in the bar. The Kava bar that we're talking about, by the way. Anyway, that is all to say. Check out the Kava Coalition's website, because it's a wealth of information as far as Kava is concerned. But we're going to switch gears a little bit and start talking about kratom. Kratom, however you like to pronounce it. So your opinion on kratom has changed a bit over the years. Do you want to talk about that a little more?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I could talk about this for hours, but I'll try to be concise. It gets me really excited because, so, I mean, you get to Kava, like your kind of journey with Kava. If you start getting into Kava by like being online and like seeing ads on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, I feel so old saying that, seeing ads on Facebook. But if you come to Kava that way,
I'm not going to give
and
you a
you
hard
start
time
like,
about being on Facebook this episode, okay?
yeah, we can have a separate episode for that. Getting personal with Facebook. So if you come to Kava through like the online world, and you're in like Reddit or all these kind of like online forums, you're gonna find like a big like schism in the community between people who are anti-kratom and either agnostic or pro-kratom. And for the first, honestly, like from the time that kratom came onto the scene, which I don't know like exactly when that was, but
Mm-hmm.
I first started hearing about it probably in like 2013 or
Mm-hmm.
2014. Like I just like wasn't like in the spaces where people were drinking kratom or talking about kratom.
It was still
But
very
from the
hush
first
hush
time,
back then.
oh okay,
It was
yeah,
like if you
I
know,
saw
you
it like
know,
at
kind of
head
a thing.
shops. Hmm. Yeah, I started like hearing about it, and then it was all negative.
Mm-hmm.
It was all like, oh, kratom is an opiate. Oh, kratom is like addictive. Oh, people are dying from kratom. And so I just kind of like accepted those assumptions for, I mean, over 10 years of hearing that. I just kind of accepted what people were saying. And then when I started like working in Kava advocacy, I started talking to more people who, especially at Kava bars, who drink both Kava and Kratom, and kind of doing my own inquiry into Kratom, into like what it actually is and how it works. And then I actually didn't drink any Kratom until a couple years ago. Actually, when I started working with the Kava Coalition, just like working with Kava bars and stuff, I eventually tried Kratom. And I used to drink alcohol like on and off. I completely stopped drinking alcohol about a year ago, but I Kratom actually like helped me completely like cut alcohol out. And because it's so fundamentally different from kava. Like kratom for me is this like really uplifting, stimulating, um, energetic botanical that like I use to help me focus and concentrate, and it like helps me like sit down and work and like get through stuff, and then it also helps me like get up and move, like if I want to go to the gym or if I want to go for a walk or something. Like a little bit of kratom like will really get me excited and like kind of motivated. um and also like one thing that surprised me about it was I had to go to England for work, and I was like really worried because I was drinking like probably a teaspoon or like two teaspoons of kratom per day, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go to England and like have this horrible withdrawal experience. And then I got there and like nothing happened.
Yeah. Especially with that
Weird,
small of
like
an amount. Yeah.
that's a big myth buster.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I know. I mean, I went almost 9 months without it when I was pregnant, and it was fine. That's the thing I really wish people focused on more. But I want to touch on a few things that you said here. So you said it's fundamentally different from kava, but you also feel like the two complement each other. And I've made my opinion clear about products that I think are irresponsibly misinforming consumers by saying that it's just a kava product and putting kratom in it, or vice versa. And that's causing some bad reactions, because if you're not expecting to have that outcome, right, it can really throw you off. I mean, because sometimes, especially if it's an extract, I should also preface that by saying, if it's an extract and you're not telling people it's an extract mixed with kava, then that can turn them off completely. And also it can really damage the community, and it has, because people will go on social media and be like, I drank this drink that just said it was kava, and they don't look at all the ingredients, and there's like 15 other botanicals in there, and one of them is kratom extract, and they get sick or whatever it is. And then people are like, oh, I've heard about that drink. You know what I mean? It just continues to snowball. So obviously there are exceptions to the rule, and you have one. Right? You think they do go well together, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're selling a product that is transparently telling its consumers and like not trying to trick the people who are buying it, like this is what's in this product. Like I think it's fine, and I think kratom and kava together, like I've drinking them together before, and it surprised me how well they work together, like as a pair. It's not something I do very often. But I feel like they do complement each other pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm more like in the camp of like kratom during the day, kava in the evening.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
at
see
the
it
same
at the
time, like,
kava
I don't
bar.
really.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Yeah,
off. But I was going to say, I do see it at the kava bar all the time. People do drink them together, and they seem to enjoy it, and it works well for them.
yeah, yeah. And like that, it's like whatever. I mean, these are all choices that people make, and like we're not seeing. I mean, we go to the same kava bar, and you work at that kava bar, but like you don't see, like you don't hear any horror stories from our community, like where it's like, oh my god, I tried mixing them for the first time, and oh no, like it was a horrible experience. Like I've never heard anything like that, and yeah, and I've heard about it online, and that's basically it. Like
Yeah.
people online, and then like those, and when I do hear about these negative experiences, I'll read an article about somebody's like horror story with kava and kratom, and it's like they drink like 15 bottles of
Right.
some product they bought at a 7-Eleven. It's like, okay, well, like if you drink like 15 cans of Coca-Cola, you'd also probably end up in the hospital, right? Like come on, people, like let's be responsible with
Yeah.
our decisions.
Yeah. That's asking for a lot. But like,
That's true.
what are the plant medicines you think pair the best with kava or kratom, really? I mean, or do you think it's all of them?
Oh yeah, I mean, like honestly, as long as, I mean, for me, my rule of thumb is botanicals typically go well together. And I know that's like a really broad, vague statement, but yeah, low low levels of like CBD and THC
Mm-hmm.
with Kana or Blue Lotus. Like I feel like all of those botanicals, even like psilocybin, like lotuses of psilocybin, I feel like really all complement each other really well. You said you have to kind of like feel it out and see what works for you. Like for me, if I was to do like um, a high dosage of psilocybin, that would probably make me really anxious, and like the kava could help like cut that anxiety. Um, yeah, but I just feel like it's kind of, you have to like learn how to manage your body and like what botanicals work with your body.
That's a good point. So, Douglas, I want to thank you again for all your tireless work for the greater good. I can't tell you enough how important your work is. But to really show our gratitude, we're going to have a live recording event on the first Sunday of September 2026, if you're listening to this in the time machine. In Baltimore, more specifically Mount Vernon at Root City Kava Bar. So stay tuned for more details on that. We will also have Christopher, who is the man behind the brand, behind the podcast. He will be there to answer everyone's Kratom questions. Douglas will be there to talk about Kava, and also it's an interactive experience. So if you're there and you ask questions, you'll be included in the recording. So I know it's a little far off, but we still, the way that this summer is going, I feel like we're going to be like next week. Whoa, wait a minute. It's September. No, I don't. But yeah, so we will be promoting that more, but just stay tuned for that. And is there anything else that you would like to promote? I know that you've got a lot going on with the Kava Coalition, so let us know.
Yeah, I just started. So some of your listeners might know me from the Kava YouTube channel, which I started like, I don't know, geez, it was like more than like 12 years ago, when I was in graduate school, and that channel was like just basically me like buying all the kava that I could find, all the different kinds of kava that I could find, and then doing videos or like written reviews. And I created like something of a community around the Kava sewer, and like some discussion boards that I started. And then recently I started a Patreon, and it's not like I'm not trying to like make money from it. It's just like me. It's like a podcast that I'm recording and releasing for free. And so yeah, I'm doing podcasts. Like one of the last ones that I did was on the health, the liver myth, and I kind of break it down over like 30 or 40 minutes. And then I'm also releasing some episodes about my travels in the Pacific Islands and experience drinking kava with indigenous Pacific Islanders. So yeah, that's one thing. And then the Kava Coalition website, like we always have so much stuff going on. Like with the kava bars, we have a kava bar forum every other week. We're doing like a summit in 2027. So yeah, if you go to the Kava Coalition website, you'll find all that stuff. I have a team of people that like manage the calendar. So yeah, check out kavacoalition.org, and then the Kava Sewer on Patreon. Again, that's all free. Like I'm just releasing those podcasts.
And let's tell people how to spell that. It will be in the show notes, but it's KAVASSEUR.
Yes, yeah, like connoisseur, but kava. Yeah, I know, very clever, right?
You are very clever. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Diana, it's so funny because like the first time I talked to you on this podcast, like I had never talked to you before, so it was like it felt very like formal, and now I feel like I'm just at the kava bar and we're just having a conversation.
Yeah, it does. Well, we will be doing that in September as well.
Exactly.
And also, if you are in the Baltimore area or Maryland or anywhere close by, definitely come by the Kava Bar. And if Douglas isn't on one of his travels, his many travels, you can say hi to him and say hi to me and learn more about Kava. So I appreciate you. Thank you again for joining me, and I can't wait for our event. Until next time, thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Diana.
Christopher's Organic Botanicals, a family-owned and operated South Jersey business for all your kratom needs. We share the love, passion, and integrity of kratom and traditional herbal tea products. Shop small and support local businesses. We've got a wide variety of products you can check out on our website. Shop tea, powder, capsules, crushed leaves, and extracts from the comfort of your keyboard. Simply visit Christopher'sOrganicBotanicals.com. The testimonials speak for themselves.
For me personally, I use it for energy in the morning. I was hit by a car as a little kid, so I was always looking for something to get me moving a little bit better. This helps basically lubricate the joints, helps me get things going, and makes me feel a lot better.
American Kratom Association audited and approved CGMP vendor. Like us on social media and call us with any questions, 609-202-6880.
Getting Personal with Plant Medicine is brought to you by Christopher's Organic Botanicals and is produced by Your Highness Media.